Today's ceremony is unique due to the COVID-19 environment. It will be conducted in accordance with all health protocols to include military command guidance. Lastly, there will be no reception at the conclusion of the ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning for the occasion of the retirement of Sergeant Major Timothy Metcalf, honoring his 30 years of military service. Our host for today's ceremony is Command Sergeant Major Diaz, the Mission and Installation Contracting Command Sergeant Major. We especially want to take time and welcome the family of Sergeant Major Metcalf, as we are honored by the presence of his wife Alice, son Connor, and daughter Laurel. We recognize his son Gavin, who could not be here today and is attending college at Brigham Young University. We also welcome his fellow Sergeants Major, other family, friends, and colleagues of Sergeant Major Metcalf. At this time, please rise for the arrival of the official party. Remain standing for the national anthem and the invocation given by Chaplain Lieutenant Colonel Pickle.
Please join me in prayer. God, of all today, we celebrate the distinguished career of Sergeant Major Timothy Metcalf. Thank you for his 30 years of dedicated service to the United States Army and the Chaplain Corps. His faithfulness to God and country leaves a lasting legacy of leadership, sacrifice, and mentorship to countless chaplains, religious affairs specialists, soldiers, DA civilians, and family members. Today, we celebrate his many accomplishments. As he retires, continue to bless and guide his family. For this day, we give you thanks. Amen.
Please be seated. Again, thank you for joining us today. Gift Chapel was dedicated October 17, 1909 by President William Howard Taft in a ceremony attended by 600 distinguished guests and dignitaries and more than 25,000 citizens who viewed the ceremony from the Roadhouse area. The dedication came after construction on the chapel had started in January of 1908. Plans to construct the main post chapel started in 1907 with a fundraising drive led by Thomas Nixon, who was one of the chaplains serving at Fort Sam Houston. Donations for the chapel came from the pockets of 1,000 military families and residents of San Antonio. Through the fundraising campaign, Nixon was able to raise $50,000 for the chapel's construction. In addition, the city of San Antonio donated a piece of property known as Maverick Park for the chapel to be built on. It was because of these generous efforts from the city and residents of San Antonio and military families that the building is called Gift Chapel. At this time, we ask Sergeant Major Metcalf to come forward as Sergeant Major Metcalf receives his retirement award from Legion of Merit is awarded to Sergeant Major Timothy Metcalf for exceptionally meritorious service as Sergeant Major. Headquarters, Installation Management Command, and other positions of increasing responsibility from 30 April 2010 to 29 April 2020. Due to Sergeant Major Metcalf's extraordinary leadership, vision, and integrity, he excelled at resolving complex issues involving religious support force structure and enlisted assignments, resource allocation, personal life cycle, and facility management. Sergeant Major Metcalf's achievements, dedication, and exemplary performance of duty, which culminated a distinguished career of 30 years, are in keeping with the proudest traditions of the military service and reflect great credit upon him, the Installation Management Command, U.S. Army Material Command, and the United States Army. Please be seated. Sergeant Major Metcalf will now receive his Certificate of Retirement. Certificate of Retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. This is to certify that Sergeant Major Timothy Metcalf, having served faithfully and honorably, is retired from the United States Army on the first day of August 2020. Signed, General James C. McConville, Chief of Staff of the United States Army. Additionally, he is receiving a tri-signed letter from Michael Brinston, Sergeant Major of the Army, James McConville, Army Chief of Staff, and the Honorable Ryan D. McCarthy, Secretary of the Army. Sergeant Major Metcalf is now receiving a letter of congratulations on his retirement from the President of the United States, President Donald Trump. Sergeant Major Metcalf will now receive a retirement pin and certificate of appreciation from the Chief of Chaplains, Chaplain Major General Tom Sojo. It is a tradition of the United States military to present an American flag to a service member on the occasion of their retirement. For more than 2 centuries, the Stars and Stripes have been the banner under which Americans have lived, fought, and died. More than a symbol, the flag is an embodiment of our government, people, ideals, and values. In honor of his selfless and dedicated service to our country, Command Sergeant Major Lieutenant Diaz is now presenting the American flag to Sergeant Major. At this time, we would like to ask Alice Metcalf to come forward and join Sergeant Major Metcalf and Sergeant Major Lieutenant Diaz. Alice is now receiving a certificate of appreciation from the Chief of Staff of the Army, General James C. McConville, and a certificate of appreciation necklace from Chaplain Major General Soljum, our Chief of Chaplains. Sergeant Major presenting his wife with beautiful bouquet of roses. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mission and Installation Contracting Command, Command Sergeant Major Senate Diaz.
Good morning and welcome to this historic gift chapel. We heard a little bit about the chapel's history this morning, and I couldn't think of a more fitting venue to be able to honor and celebrate the 30-year career of an incredible soldier and leader, our friend and faithful servant to God and country, Sergeant Major Timothy J. Metcalf. What a tremendous honor it is for me to host this special event. I had the pleasure of first meeting and serving with Sergeant Major Metcalf 19 years ago at West Point, New York during 9/11. And we sort of done this buddy-ready, buddy-moving team for the rest of our military career as we followed each other around several assignments thereafter, to include a combat tour in Iraq, and I believe our most recent engagement, Sergeant Major, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think our last significant engagement was in Zambia, Africa. So it's been quite a journey. Tim, my dear friend, thank you for allowing me to join you for this last leg of your Army marathon. Our first special welcome to our distinguished guests joining us here today. We have, as you heard in the narration this morning, Ellis, Sergeant Metcalf's wife, and two of their three children joining us. Connor, he's an intelligent young man who loves his 80s retro cartoons and Star Wars. And Laurel, she's a junior in high school with a passion for art, fashion, music, and animals. Let me also welcome Sergeant Major Metcalf's family who cannot be here today as a result of COVID, but they are with us today virtually. So I'd like to give a shout out to Tim's brothers and sisters joining us on Facebook Live. Welcome Terry, Kathy, Dan, Matt, Amy, and Melissa. And a special welcome to Tim's son, Gavin Metcalf, a 22-year-old young man. As you heard earlier, he's attending college at Brigham Young University after just finishing his 2-year stint for religious service mission in Busan, Korea. But they probably don't remember the boys. I think they were probably 3 years old and 7 years old, and I decided to go out on this venture and take two of the boys and another lady that I worked with in the office, two of her kids, to Chuck E. Cheese Pizza. And that's probably harder than any mission I had to do since I've been in the military. So let's give the family a big round of applause. Thank you to many of their friends that have come from near and far. I see many of you out in the audience and joining us for this joyous occasion. Chaplain Bickle for those inspiring words, and for the entire Escalation Management Command Religious Support Office for putting on this magnificent ceremony. Sergeant Major Metcalf began his Army career in 1990 as an Army infantryman at the end of the Cold War era. In 1990, the average monthly rent was $465. Although, Tim, you probably remember this, we were still using view graphs back then. A 16 megabit chip was introduced for the first time. Great Woman was released that year. The very first in-car satellite navigation system was sold by Pioneer. And one of my favorite music groups, Milli Vanilli, was out in And the Cincinnati Reds made their last appearance in the World Series, sweeping the series in 4 games against, does anybody know? The Oakland Athletics. In August of 1990, after the Iraq invasion of Kuwait, Desert Shield began. It was this time when then Private Metcalf credits his foundation for his strong soldier skills. Later in 1993, Sergeant Major Metcalf reclassified as a 71 Mike chaplain assistant, now known as a 56 Mike religious affairs specialist. So how do you capture 30 years of incredible service, long service, of a great hero, a great American, just a 10-minute speech? As you can see in the program, Sergeant Major Metcalf has served in a variety of assignments and leadership positions. He's taken care of soldiers and families in the garrison, with the field artillery, the air cav, the 3rd ACR, the 1st Cavalry Division, 1st Army, the United States Army African Command, and culminated with his most recent assignment here in England. A graduate of the Sergeant's Major course in 2014. Sergeant Major Metcalf served 3 combat deployments in Iraq for a total of 31 months. And yet this, he earned 3 Bronze Stars for meritorious service in the combat zone. He's built serving community and demonstrated excellence, evidenced by his induction into the Sergeant Audie Murphy Club way back in 1997. He was awarded the prestigious St. Martin Tours by the Army Chief of Chaplains for his significant contributions to the chaplain corps. And as you can see in his bio, Sergeant Major Metcalf understood the importance of education, earning his bachelor's degree from Columbia College in 2011. Always striving to be a good example, Sergeant Major Metcalf tried to model good leadership, citing leaders like General Bolger. He was the 1st Cavalry Division Commanding General who went to Iraq, who shooed away the SUV when they arrived in theater so he could ride the bus in the back to be with the soldiers. As Sergeant Major Metcalf would tell it, he was less a prima donna than all the majors in Iraq. We all know Metcalf is exactly that type of selfless servant. He's down to earth, passionate, always ready to teach and train, but most importantly, a respected leader who's ready to roll up his sleeves to be a good example for all soldiers and vets. The sacrifices he and his family faced over the years to remain loyal to our Army and our nation is a debt we cannot repay. Rising to every challenge with multiple deployments and frequent moves. The times Alice stepped up to serve with the family support groups, her care for the children in Metcalf's absence, during deployments, training exercises, and when the religious support mission called for him to be away from his own family to care for others. Sacrifices from the kids, who had to make new friends and leave no comforts behind. The Metcalf family is the force behind the force, and we are thankful for that. Now, some of you might wonder, what exactly does a sergeant major do when they retire? To bring you a little insight, and as with every speech, you have to have a good quote in there, right? So to bring you a little insight, I'm going to share this quote from one of my favorites, Miss Alice Metcalf, the awesome wife of Sergeant Major Metcalf after 28 years. I think we celebrated 28 years coming up in September timeframe, yeah. And the quote goes, "If Tim isn't fishing, then he's watching it on TV. If he isn't watching it on TV, then he's reading about it. If he isn't reading about it, then he's talking about it. And if he isn't talking about it, it's because he's thinking about it." There was a time that every picture on the wall was a picture of a fish. And there was actually a picture of family up on the wall. It was because they were holding a fish. That said, in retirement, Sergeant Major Metcalf, Tim will serve as the manager of the Lake Coast Tackle Shop in Lindsay, Texas, which is the largest tackle shop in, I think it's Mid-Central Texas, the largest tackle shop. That's incredible. I have no doubt that Tim will sell any endeavor that he sets his mind to, and Lake Coast Tackle Shop just hit the jackpot. Tim, for the record, Ellis will always be your prize cash. Never forget that. Sergeant Major, I'd like to stay in bittersweet as you leave the soldiers you love and enter into this next season. You may retire today, but you are a soldier for life. Now you join the rich tradition of fellow soldiers that have come before you, and we know you will continue to stand behind the soldiers of today and tomorrow. Your legacy will not only be the impact that you've made as a part of the American Army, but also on each soldier that you have poured into along the way in their heavenly name. As General Douglas MacArthur prepared to retire, he thought about his years in uniform. The general said, "I suppose in a way, this has become a part of my soul. It is a symbol of my life. Whatever I have done that really matters, I've done it wearing this. And when the time comes, it'll be in this that I journey forth. What great honor could have come to an American and a soldier." Sergeant Major Metcalf, you are a part of a great generation who stands shoulder to shoulder with the great men and women of wars past. And it is you, the American soldier, who provided freedom and liberty to the entire world, not just our sons and daughters. It is you, the American soldier, who sacrificed your own personal freedoms for the freedom of others. And it is you, the American soldier, who is willing to stand in harm's way and unselfishly sacrifice your body and your life to protect your brothers and sisters in arms. I cannot thank you enough, and we as a nation are forever in your debt. We are proud of you. Your dad Dan, also a Navy veteran, served back in the 50s, is proud of you, and your beautiful mom Linda is looking down on us with a smile, is proud of you. When history of this is written, it will be said that you and your family were a part of this great nation as the strongest generation. Sergeant Major Metcalf, on behalf of the men and women of the Installation Management Command and the entire United States Army Chaplain Corps, thank you for your honorable service and keeping the Army strong. Congratulations on an incredible 30-year career in the Army. We salute you, Army strong, for their culture, for God and country.
Command Sergeant Major Cindy, thank you again for hosting this ceremony and your kind words. Our Carter, President Bill Clinton, and President George W. Bush. Along with these letters are included a retirement letter from the governor of Utah and your high school principal at Spanish Works High School. He says you have 2 classes you didn't finish. These letters were reduced in size for presentation purposes. Sergeant Major Metcalf will receive the originals at the conclusion of this ceremony. Additionally, Sergeant Major Metcalf is receiving a certificate congratulating him on his retirement from Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, from our San Antonio Mayor, Ron Muirenberg, and Sergeant Major Metcalf is receiving admission into the Texas Navy, an appointment to the honorary rank of Admiral by our governor. Texas has a Navy, you ask? Texas had a Navy. It was the official Navy of the Republic of Texas, created to protect and defend the coastline of Texas and offer protection for shipping and trade that was desperately needed for the growing republic. Today, the Texas Navy members is open to anyone holding a Texas Navy Commission of Admiral from the governor of Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, don't you think Admiral Metcalf has a nice ring?
That's right. Yes.
Additionally, Sergeant Major Metcalf is receiving recognition of retirement certificate from the governor of Texas, the Honorable Greg Abbott. At this time, Chaplain Hutzel will present Sergeant Major Metcalf the Religious Support Memento of Appreciation from the INCOM Headquarters Religious Support Office staff.
Sergeant Major, before we present the gift, just wanted to, first of all, Admiral Sergeant Major Metcalf, think of all the fishing you can do now. Possibly, we'll look into that. And so, but just wanted to say on behalf of the Religious Support Office, just been a delight to serve with you in the office. You've had a huge influence in our lives. And of course, we hate to see you go. Your presence will be greatly missed, but we're excited for the new job that God provided for you. And I remember you talking about Chaplain, so I just really like to do something in the fishing industry. And God has provided just a measure for you to do that, so we're really excited for you. Now that they say that for some people, fishing is a hobby, but for others, it's a way of life. And I think that you heard Command Sergeant Major Cindy Diaz talking about Alice, your perception of Sergeant Major, that fishing is his whole life. And we also know that in the RSO because of the hundreds of pictures that Sergeant Major has showed us each Monday morning when he arrived to work. And so, you know, many fishermen talk about the fish that get away. We don't think that any fish have ever gotten away from Sergeant Major because he has caught so many fish, and you are such an avid fisherman and just a real professional at that, and it truly is your whole life, and we celebrate that today. So as we thought about, you know, what should we get Sergeant Major for a farewell gift, a conversation came to mind that you and I had in your office one day, and I said, well, Sergeant Major, I have a relative that's really into fishing too. He's a professional fisherman, and he does tours, and you go, you have a relative? Who is he? I said, well, you're not going to know him, but his name is Mark Pack. He's my cousin. And Sergeant Major goes, you know Mark Pack? Now wait, he's like, you're not like your 4th or 5th cousin, he's your cousin, right? I said, yeah, he's my first cousin. Yeah, this is his dad, my mom, brothers and sisters. And he goes, well, Chaplain Hutzel, I got to tell you, before this conversation, I had you measured about here, and now you're way up here because you know Mark Pack. So, but Sergeant Major, we all chipped in, and we got you a day of fishing with Mark Pack at Lake Fork. This is Mark there. And for those of you that don't know, Lake Fork has the record largemouth bass in the state of Texas at 18 pounds. Not only that, 12 of the 15 largest largemouth bass have come out of that lake, and about 35 out of 50 of the Texas state records can come out of Lake Fork. So we're excited to provide you a day of fishing on August 7th. You just show up there at the tackle shop and restaurant there at the marina, at Lake Fork Marina Restaurant, 7 o'clock. Mark's going to be there. He's going to take you out for a day of fishing on Lake Fork. We really appreciate you.
Okay. I'm going to do a little different. I'm going to mention some people, probably more than you want to hear, but I have a long time and a lot of people I ran into in my career that I would like to mention, and I'll probably forget some that are on Facebook Live right now. But I'm going to start with my old cohort, basic training, Charlie 258 Infantry, and all my guys who went to Fort Worth, California, and 317 Infantry. Charlie Company, 1st Platoon. My first squad leader, Sergeant Carlisle. My platoon sergeants are First Class Clements, Lieutenant Chimp, Great Lieutenant. All my buddies, Jim Beatty, Bert Neer, Rudd, Marcune, Morales, John Duvall, Sterling, Blanchard, Gray, Sergeant Furbishay, Sergeant Marin, Sergeant Crow, Sergeant Nybar, Bird, Lawson, Reynolds, Fields, Soto, Marshall, Yoakum, Venegas, Bunea, Jack Jones, Graves, Nicholson, Sergeant Teo, so ones I remember really well. And then now I'm going to talk about my chaplains that I work for. I work directly for and some with and around. My very first chaplain was Chaplain Glenn Scheid, 114 FA, 2nd Armored Division. Chaplain Luis Ruiz. Chaplains Kavanaugh, Cooper, Garrison, Kitchens, Del Tufo, Chaplain Kim, Joe Wu, Chaplain Wild, Chaplain Harris, Chaplain Rick Crystal, Chaplain Roder, Chaplain Faria, who I went to Iraq with, boy, Chaplain Causey, David, I went to the OI3, Detmeyer, Bowen, Beals, Benimoff, Ross, Hubbs, Chaplain Kim. Orlando with Chaplain Park, Chaplain Watson, twice. Chaplain Heath, Chaplain Gilmore, Chaplain Palmer. 1st Cavalry Division, Chaplain Shear. Chaplain Bragg, Chaplain Sorensen, sorry, Chaplain Thomas, Mueller, Zuss, Moser, Powers, Wilkinson, Betzel, Lyle, Vaughn, Burgess, Klein, Hudson, here, Colby, Hutzel, Winningham, Santiago, Bickle, and Chaplain Solium, and Chaplain Green, our current chief and deputy chaplains. My enlisted 56 Smite brethren, and some other NCOs. Sergeant Major Rob Martinez, my fellow classmate, regimental right now. The best AIT class ever in Chaplain Corps, I would say. Sergeant Major John Proctor, Sergeant Major Bill Frank, Sergeant Major Metcalf, Sergeant Major, all in the same AIT class. Greg Winslow, Michael Robinson, and Augustin Mendez also. My very first COIC, she's watching Marcia Easton. $30 Moses Oliver, and Colonel Glocker. Retired Sergeant Major Steve Diedrich, and especially known Sergeant Major retired Karen Molden. I'm glad I met her. She's the one that taught me how the Army works and how you get promoted. Very grateful for her. Terry Vermalen, Gardena, West Point, Chantel Sina Diaz. Became one of my best friends, and they were probably the best chaplain sister friend I had before. Hawk, Deacon Private Smith and Sergeant Nichols. Private Smith, they used to make me throw up and run. First, 3rd ACR, Nicole, John Wade, Carlisle, Crum, Mooney, Sam, Chad Craft, 1st Sergeant Golf, and 1st Sergeant Rodney Green. He's now Sergeant Major retired. Fort Leonard Wood, Staff Sergeant Jones, Evangeline and David McKay, Ramos, Datia, Tony Leslie Setzer, Beth Shamhart, our secretary, and Carol Hedler, our ERE there. David Lee, my manager, and David Owen Spicer and Sergeant Yost, the ones that are there at Fort Leonard Wood. But my other four-letter group, my old fishing buddies, my really fishing friend of all time, Jim Eakin, Jason Prego, Stuart Tony, Tom Murphy, and the entire Tri-County basketball. First Cat Division, Sean Kelly was here, Carla Philpott, Special Squadron Alexander Cruz, Knight, Salma Rodriguez, SGM Metcalf, Sergeant Gallego, one of my Christian friends, and Command Sergeant Region Malloy. First Army Bouchard, Kretz, Griffiths, Nelson, McCarty, Fields, Hire, Barnard, and Gene Lucas was also at Rock Island. And then U.S. Army Africa, George Butler, who was here also today. Thank you for everything you do. To my staff here, Master Hayden, Guile, Goff, Command Sergeant Major Gutkins, previous incom, Command Sergeant Major, Sergeant Major Uloff, all the day done for me, Sergeant Majors Baird, Haycraft, Solomon, Denison, Mason, and Carl. Thank you for being great friends and colleagues. And then finally, Mike Swindler for making all this happen and being a great friend to me the last 2 years. Those all people, all that takes some money. I had to talk about it. So there I was, Florida, California. At night with my little green island notepad, writing on front of it, I used to write little scribbles on the front of it sometimes. How did I get here? At the time I was questioning my enlistment in the Army. And if you've ever been light infantry and done a movement to daylight, you have questioned your enlistment in the Army. And then the whole 50-50 when you get there too is the other fun part. I asked the same question today, how do I get here? I really don't know what to say other than some of the people here today and a lot watching online on Facebook are the reason I'm here. I can honestly say I've had some great chaplains overall, and I was very lucky to have the ones that I did. Just saying I've met some I would rather not work with. And probably a couple of Latinos out there also. A few here are in the audience. Sergeant Major Sims spoke, Senator Diaz spoke about me. Sean Kelly is here. My Ops NCO from 1st Cat Division, George Butler, my Ops NCO from U.S. Army Africa. Sergeant Reuter, we worked with when she was in NPD when I was in Iraq for the third time I started. Master Sergeant Hayden, Goff, and Guile, Captains Hudson and Colby have all helped me be successful. I don't think I could ever forget it. And all the Army buddies out there watching online. If you read my bio, you can see that it took me 6.5 years to make E5. I changed my MOS from 11 Bravo right after the Gulf War during a drawdown when we lost 4 divisions, I think, to a low-density MOS that really did not promote. At one point, I thought I was going to hit my E4 RCP and have to get out. I just kept trying to get better, be it college or PT or school, whatever I could do to make points to make staff sergeant or make sergeant for that matter. Lo and behold, I made it to sergeant to E5, and that early struggle helped me accelerate through the rest of my career. In fact, the longest rank I held is my current rank, which I've had for 7 years. A pearl of wisdom I shared a few times recently, I shared it with Master Sergeant Hayden, and somebody may have heard this that know me. It's my leadership philosophy that I try to live by. Back in the day, also it's been a long time, they used to ask rhetorical work questions to kind of get your opinion. They used to ask, what do you think is the most important leadership principle and why? We all remember those questions, right? And there's really there's supposed to be really no right or wrong answer. They just wanted to see how you could answer that question. Now, these are the old ones we studied back in the day in the E4, E5, and 6 leadership principles. And they are as follows. Know yourself, seek self-improvement, be tactically and technically proficient, develop a sense of responsibility in your subordinates, make sound and timely decisions, set an example, know your people and look out for their welfare, keep your people informed, seek responsibility and take responsibility for your actions, ensure assigned tasks are understood, supervised and accomplished, and train your people as a team. Employ your team in accordance with its capabilities. The more I thought about this, I came to realize that there wasn't a right answer to this question. The answer is set an example. If you're technically and tactically proficient, you set an example. If you keep your people informed, you're setting an example. If you make sound and timely decisions, you're setting an example. Everything can fit underneath set good example. So this is how I try to lead throughout my career. Try to be a good example as best as I can. I was not perfect by any means, but that's how I try to live your own values. Last but not least, I'd like to thank my wonderful wife, Alice, has put up with 6 years of unaccompanied tours. That's just an unaccompanied tour part, not the NTC or train and all other stuff you have to do. She's the one that's always supported me and taken care of the family during all the time I was not home. Had a baby when I was in Iraq, where my one was sitting next to her right now. Probably had the harder job than I had, to be honest. She's awesome. I love her very much. I would not be here today without her support. 4 words I used to always say: she doesn't fish. So. To my kids, Connor, Gavin, Laurel, I love you all, and know that you will be successful in all that you do. To my mom and dad, I would not be the way that I am without the way they raised me. My dad is a great man. I will look up to. He's the person that taught me hard work. I got to mow a lawn, fix a car, help others, and many things I can't even count that he taught me. And he's also the one who taught me to fish. So it's his fault. We used to go fishing, Utah where I'm from, and fish for trout. With the number 16 treble hook, a bag of Belgian cheese we cut into little squares. I used to think Belgian cheese was for trout, not to eat. And some split shot and fishing the trout streams around where I grew up in Utah County. I'm a little beyond that Belgian cheese, to say the least now. I have like 10 rods in my boat. And I have boats, for that matter. To my mother, who passed away about 5 months ago, I miss her and know that she was very proud of me. To my brothers and sisters, Terry, Kathy, Dan, Amy, and Melissa, thank you for all the support, prayers over the years. I know that they protected me on all those deployments. Lieutenant Hudson, my last supervisor, and the income team, thanks for being a great supervisor and all those personal prayers to the team here that supported me in my transition. I could not have done without you. In closing, I would say that I love the Army and know that I will miss it after serving for 3 years. I'm excited and nervous about the future endeavors, but ready for the next chapter of my life. As the lead goes, and you still serving, with a paraphrased and slightly changed portion of a poem that I really liked by John Craig. A portion of the poem was from Flanders Fields. I say to you, take up your quarrel with the bow. To you, from my retired hands, back to go. The torch be yours to hold it up. Thank you all for coming. God bless the United States of America, the United States Army, those that have served or will serve this great nation. Thank you very much.
die, followed by the Army song, and remain standing. By Chaplain Lieutenant Colonel Lauren Hudson.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we are grateful today for Sergeant Major Metcalf's dedication and leadership to our United States Army. He has faithfully defended our nation and supported our soldiers and families. And he inspires us today as he bids us farewell. As he and Alice anticipate new opportunities and direction, we trust in your inspiration and guidance for their future. We pray that you would protect and uphold them with your might, bless them with your joy and peace. In this new chapter of their lives, may they discover new fishing horizons, and may the fish always be biting. Now grant to all of us love, faith, and hope that we might faithfully serve others. To you be honor and glory forever. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the ceremony. While observing physical distancing, please come and congratulate Sergeant Major Metcalf, his wife Alice, and their family on